a proper border control. Our porous borders are loose. Abu Patricia Delil has a scandal of purchasing a typical fence of about 3 million. Yet we don't have proper concrete walls. We don't have that electric fence that was effective in preventing all of these treasonous crimes happening in our country. We need to advocate for that, and we need to have scanners coming in Richards Bay to scan those containers, as well as all packages that are coming through from the continental as well as the international trade, because this is how Commonwealth countries are picking up contraband drugs and illicit goods, as well as human trafficking that is coming into the borders. So I thank you all for your advocacy, and may you continue exposing these corrupt politicians who for 30 years are the result why our international image as South African has been ruined because of their dealing with international syndicates on human trafficking, organ harvesting, and funding terrorism, as well as this crisis that we are having with drugs, which the likes of Abo Jekisi Leby were implicated. I thank you.
SA Patriots, you've been in and out of the space, please speak.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for the opportunity. I like what the brothers just said, that like before apartheid there was security, right? There were like electric fences and stuff, but now there's nothing. So my theory is I think the whites have set us up. They did it intentionally, so we can have all these foreigners in our country and fight with them and look like we are xenophobic. That's why in the media they are always against us. So yeah, I just think they did it on purpose, and they are still our enemy. Like the whites are really doing everything in their power to make sure that we are hated all over Africa. Yeah, thank you so much.
There was another hand up from Eli, and then Ben Menzi.
Good day, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity. First of all, I'd just like to begin with what David said about having Nigerians all over the world. It seems like everyone else doesn't have a problem with them except for South Africans, which I believe is a lie. And I'm sure he knows it as well, because we've had issues, not only us, other countries as well. If you go on the internet now, look at any news outlet, you'll find out that there's always headlines about the stuff that these people are doing. And also, you can't come into a country and be entitled. That's number one. You cannot come with entitlement. If you want to stay here, come the right way. If you're coming in the right way, I don't think anyone would have a problem with you. We wouldn't even have a leg to stand on if you're coming in legally and doing what you're supposed to do, not committing any crimes, not murdering anyone, just being a normal citizen. No one would have an issue with you. But once you come in, you force your way in and start insulting the people of that country, telling them that they're lazy, telling them that they're uneducated, telling them that they're jealous of you. It doesn't make sense to me, and I'm sure a majority of South Africans, that you're claiming that your country is far better off. South African, black South Africans are slaves. They're still owned by white people. But you force your way here. Why would you leave your comfortable country to come here? And even you're fighting your way here, like you're forcing your way here. My brother, you can't leave a Porsche and fight to get into a Tez. Doesn't make sense. Makes no sense at all. And just to add on to that, there's 5 countries currently that have banned Nigerian visa. Why? Because of the same issues that we face as South Africans. Turkey, UAE, Seychelles. Do your research. Don't just come out and blabble things that you just think you're speaking out of emotion. And the same island that he claims to be living in, I think just after the Rugby World Cup, most people basically thought that the visa ban was because we beat Ireland in rugby, but only to find out there's an influx of these people that are coming into Ireland seeking asylum under false pretenses that they're South Africans. The Minister of International Relations addressed this, that the reason why this is happening is because of this and this and that. So if you're going out there as a South African and doing crimes and whatever, and these people now think that South Africans are coming to our country doing this, do you really expect us to be okay with that and be like, oh no, you're my brother, you're my sister? The same way that you come into the country, fraud, drugs, human trafficking. How do you, if you really want Pan-Africanism, if you really think of South Africans as your brothers and sisters, why would you come into a country and harm your brother, harm your sister, feed them drugs?
Tana? I think a brother was still speaking. Just please confirm if you can go ahead. Okay, can go ahead.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
No, let
Okay,
Ben go in first. Hold on. Sorry, Siri.
Okay.
Sorry, sis. Valentino. Please let Ben Menzi go in first, and then Nkosheng go before you go. Nkosheng he was booted out of the space. He had a technical issue. Ben Menzi.
Sharp. Hello, guys. Good day, guys. The South African matter is very serious. This matter of immigration in our government, it's a serious matter because, we black people, we have a problem. The problem of black people is that they live for themselves instead of living for the future or for the offspring or for the people who's going to live next from us, So in 1994, when the ANC take over the country, guys, they were clueless, they were incompetent, they were not up to the standard whereby they can run a country like South Africa, I think if maybe they acquired experienced individuals to give them some advice on how to run the country. Guys, you cannot take a kid that you went to exile with in Zambia or Malawi and run a country. That cannot happen, because there were so many things that were compromised. People placed in positions which they don't even qualify to be in. That's why when the ANC started doing a mistake, it's when they eradicated the border fence, the electric border fence. So some decisions were very stupid to do. They eradicated the border fence, which was electrified. And then the immigration started to come, the people started to come in the country. And these ANC people, they didn't even have that sense of patriotism, because South Africans, like the people on the ground, are the ones who fought for this country. And we fought for this country. We were here in this country. These people were in exile, fighting from afar. Our grandparents, our brothers and sisters died in this country, fighting for it on the ground with stones. You understand what I'm saying? Now the people from exile came in, and the country was taken over by us black people. Then we started to say, okay, now we are free. Let's now open the borders. We Africans and all that stuff. That time, the people who live in these African countries, they have already messed up their countries. Go to Nigeria today. Go to the South African embassy in Nigeria. There is a long queue of people who are applying for the visa to come in this country. You go to Nigeria today, every person in Nigeria wants to japa. There are posters that says, or some trends, or what do you call it? There are some topics that are going on in Nigeria today on how to apply for papers, or how to apply for visas in South Africa, or easiest ways to acquire the visas. I mean, everyone wants to japa, guys. Those people don't want to remain in their country. Going to other countries is like a dream. It's like something that they pursue each and every day. You understand what I'm saying? So, and these people are so a lot of people. Nigeria is about 260 or 270 people, because they don't even know how many of them are there in the country. They guess. But as for me, there are almost 300 million people in Nigeria. All those people, they want to flee from that country. Now today we have people who are leading South Africa, and there are laws that are there. They don't even apply those laws. I've never seen a country that is so relaxed and laid off like this country. Like the people who are in government, they are even scared to face the facts that they are even scared to face the facts or apply the law. They are so like in a position to please these African countries, which of these African countries there is nothing, absolutely nothing that we benefit from. I don't know if maybe they are having interest in these countries, like investments in these countries, or they have businesses in these countries that they don't want to spoil those contracts which they have. But those things are coming to us as citizens in our expense. You know, these crimes that are done by Nigerians, if our government was sane enough, they would have already spoke or have talked with these governments from Nigeria. For instance, there is no sane government who can allow foreigners to trade in drugs like how Nigerians are doing in South Africa. Every episode of Sizokuthola, there are Nigerian kingpins which are arrested. In South Africa today, there are crimes that we don't even know of. We didn't have human trafficking in this country. There are crimes which we don't even know that existed before, but these people imported those crimes in this country. You go to Cape Town today, there are Nigerians who are driving big cars. They're driving Bentleys, they're driving Jaguars, they're driving latest Maybachs. Those people don't work, but they live in South African hotels doing yahoo, selling drugs, and they are doing those things for free. We don't have a government, even in this national unity government. You see guys like Katie McKenzie standing up for South Africa, and it's like they are doing something wrong. And Ramaphosa made it deliberately not to place Katie McKenzie as a Minister of Home Affairs, because why? They are scared for South Africa to be deemed xenophobic, as if South Africans are really xenophobic. Forcing people to integrate with the South Africans, living with these people. At the end of the day, we are deemed as xenophobic. Why? For me I'm about to step down now. My last question is to Nota. Do South African artists really need these international labels? Can't we have music and South African labels and export our music through the whole world and be known in the whole world without trying to be employed or be under these labels from America and stuff, and end up leaving the country, living in America? I mean, is there no way that South African artists can remain in South Africa and be all over the world, like break in those markets without being taken? Like Tyler, she's now living in America. I mean, like, there are American artists living in America. They are famous all over the world. Is it not possible for our artists to do the same? I thank you.
Yeah, okay. It's very possible, and it's happening. Artists like Kabza the Small, DJ Maphorisa are known all over the world, and they live in South Africa. They travel. The thing that is happening right now is that because of how successful our independent artists have become at promoting themselves, mainly through platforms like TikTok, the international labels are losing market share within this country, and therefore they're doing anything by any means to suppress the independent artists. That's why I started in this space, we spoke about Calvin Momo's album. You look at Calvin Momo's album on Apple Music, it's not promoted, it's got no banners, it's got nothing. On Spotify, he's just broken the record for the most streams of an album in the first day. So he's broken a record, but he's not all over the playlists with any of his songs. And if you look at Apple Music's trending songs right now, he doesn't have one song on that trending songs list. Not even one of Calvin Momo's songs is on the trending songs list, but his album dominates the entire chart. I think his album's got 30 songs or something like that, and he dominates the charts all the way up until his lowest position is number 53, I think, currently. So all 30 of his songs are in the top 60 of Apple Music, but he's not being promoted, and that's because he's independent. And the reason why they don't promote independent artists is because they want to create the impression that artists need to sign over full rights to the major labels, to the international labels, so that they can be promoted and so that they can have careers. And that is false, because, you know, South Africans and people all around the world are searching for their favorite artists and discovering the music on other platforms outside of the streaming platforms, and therefore they don't need these platforms. Another thing that South Africa has is lots of performance opportunities. So artists choose to rather stay in South Africa and perform all over South Africa because they make more money than in countries where the artists perform one show per night, whereas in South Africa the artists can perform 6 or 7 shows in one night and make more money. So they'd rather forego the experience and the international travel to stay in the country to make more money because of how lucrative our live performance market is. Ngosheng, you're still a speaker. I see you're unmuted. Can you please speak? And then we'll have Media Valentino speak next, the lady. Kucho. No, it's Kucho. Ngosheng? Okay, Ngosheng is having an issue. Kuchu, can you please speak, and then Buko Gubevu.
Thank you. Thanks, Nota. Dumelang, everybody. Nota is actually kuchu, you know. It's actually a sound that a train makes in Sepedi. So I'm a pedi girl from Mokopane. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But thanks for this opportunity. I want to just say this conversation is very ripe, long overdue. And as someone who works in the media space as well, and I get to travel, we're the right custodians of this narrative, and we need to fix it and correct a lot of wrongs that have been done. The truth is that, fortunately, I don't speak from a place of ignorance, as we are, as most of the time we are accused of doing by the people that don't favor the direction that the narrative is now taking necessarily, you know. We are not ignorant. We do travel, actually. We work, some of us, out of the country a lot, and we work in the African space as a continent, not just SADC, including Nigeria, you know. So I want to affirm and confirm that this narrative needs to be heard and needs to be corrected. And not everything that is said is true about South Africa. But the fact that we're patriotic is very true. And I think we need a reset. From my observation, in our national relations with the rest of the African countries, we need a reset. We need a reset with Nigeria. And the reason I say that is because, you know, we've gone to a space that is becoming very dark, where we're not even afforded a common decency, just a common decency. There's a lot of speakers that I agreed with, I just lost track of names, that you can't come into someone's house and want to take the privileges of the children of the house beyond what has been offered at the table, which is very fair, more than what you're coming for, enough to earn a living and survive and create wealth for yourself and build yourself and build a livelihood without disadvantaging the children of the house. There's really no need for some of the areas that we're contesting for South Africans to be contesting, you know? The the common decency that we need will come from internal conversations that I think, honestly, the minority good of Nigerians that remain need to have. You know, a peer of mine was saying, he's Afrikaner, and we were working on a project, and he was calling out racism and everything. And one day we had an honest conversation where I was saying to him, but in your house, what happens there? Because it is at your dinner table where the racist comments start happening. If you don't call out your dad, if you don't call out your sister or your aunt, that's racist. You can't come out here when you are among us and start calling out racism, whereas you allow it at your table, at your dinner table in your house. And you know, we spoke about it for the duration of that project. It lasted 4 months. We were out of the country. And one day he came back and said, you know, I'm glad we had that conversation that we once had, because now I've become conscientized to the fact that if I allow the racist talk and the racist jokes to happen in my house or in my father's house and I'm at the table, I'm also perpetuating the racism and that mindset. So Nigerians that are in the minority of good people, it is up to you to call out the majority of the people that are plaguing society in the name of Nigeria, because unfortunately, someone said, you know, the bad somehow surpasses the good all the time, and it's true. Because now what happens is that when in one day 5 reports in the news, you know, or in current affairs, points fingers at Nigerians doing bad, you're doing good in your little corner is not gonna actually make a difference, because what is plaguing society is the bad that has now received a spotlight. It's up to you then, one, to acknowledge that you have a problem in Nigeria, you have a problem amongst Nigerians as nationals, call each other out when you see wrong happening, and not just say, as long as I'm not a perpetrator, you will be affected, because the world will shut doors on Nigerians. They don't care that you're doing good. One of the projects we did, I was in the UAE. I don't know if you've been to the Northern Gulf. I think it's David, to see what's happening there and the reputation that Nigerians have garnered for themselves. I was literally in a queue. In front of me were 3 Nigerians. Behind me was another Nigerian that I was in the company of. What saved me was having my passport in my hand, because they don't even receive cards from Nigerians. They were telling them, go and draw money, bring us dirhams in hard cash, then we can give you a service, because we cannot trust your cards. That's how bad it is, you know? Same thing in Qatar. They're like, no, go and draw money in dirhams. And this guy's like, but it's a lot of money. I'm paying for 10 people. It's like, sure, go into the bank, increase your limit, draw cash, come and then pay over the counter cash, because you guys, you come and pay. As soon as we've given you a service, our money is reversed somehow. God knows how the scam happens. Is it that guy in particular? No. But some Nigerians, enough to amass this thing. Now that guy being a Nigerian became a victim of a lot of people's acts, simply because when we raise concerns, the first thing people do is become defensive. Instead of actually affording us the common decency to say, but this is wrong. Firstly, it shouldn't be happening. It shouldn't be done. You know, there are needs and then there are privileges. You cannot get into someone's house and then take more than they're willing to offer. You have to acknowledge that this is how much they're willing to offer me. Is it enough for me to make something of myself? If the answer is yes, accept, acknowledge, be thankful, and move on and build something for yourself. Because you see, the problem that we are now having is that we want to preserve the little that's there. Yes, our forefathers messed up. Our elders messed up. But that doesn't mean we then fold our hands or fold our arms and let all of that, you know, be perpetuated while we are watching. We are now the custodians. Our elders fought. We went there to fight. We went there to be on the streets and all of that. But we are here now and there's a new war. And that war threatens the well-being, the livelihood of our children's livelihoods. And by our children, I don't just mean South Africans. The truth is that the moment you start acknowledging, one, that we need a reset, in this case, we're talking about Nigeria, but there are other countries as well. The infrastructure is messed up. Go to Nigeria. I've been there 5 times. Living and running away is not going to solve the problem. When you go back, if you're honest, you can attest that it's getting worse and worse and worse every time you go home. Going into the inland or out, the traffic is crazy because there's just no infrastructure. To catch a flight in 5 hours, you need to leave your hotel, because otherwise the traffic will hold you up that you'll miss your flight, that if you leave Joburg for OR Tambo, you're going to make it in 45 minutes. But in Nigeria, it's very different because there's just no infrastructure and it's being worn down and worn down and worn down. And young people that may be here on the space that are Nigerian, there are very good Nigerian people that I personally work with. I have worked with in Nigeria and in South Africa and across the continent. Very good. I stayed in Lekki recently when I was in Nigeria. The people that are locals there, very good service. They went all out to help me, even the hotel staff.
Yeah, I think you signal. You're saying you stayed in Lekki in Lagos.
Yes. I stayed in Lekki in Lagos, and the staff, they were amazing. We got along. They actually helped me. I was looking for a pharmacy. The service was great, and we got along and we discussed a lot of issues, even issues that are affecting other Nigerians in the diaspora, because more than anything is that most Nigerians are not in Nigeria. They're out in the diaspora because there are problems in Nigeria. But the problem is that instead of fixing the problems or just running away from them and then behaving when they get to other states, they import the problems. You see, you can't.
Hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Sorry, I think it's my signal. But
from you are in Lekki. You are in Lekki, right? I think you said you were in Lekki in Nigeria. Yes.
Yes, I was saying that I stayed in Harmony in Lekki.
Everything you said after that we missed.
Oh, sorry. I stayed in Harmony in Lekki. And we got along. We had very important conversations with some of the people.
Okay, could you
my goodness.
Just fix your signal problem?
Okay, cool.
We'll bring you back.
Okay, sure.
Just mute your mic. Buko, Kijo, Kiano.
Oh, hello, guys. Hello. Can you hear me? Hello?
Buko.
Oh, can you hear me?
No, I think
Hello.
you are the one having a problem with the network.
Antidote.
Hello? Hello.
Buko, I can hear you. I think Unota is having a problem.
Okay.
Antidote, you put your hand up.
Even with service,
Okay.
I was hearing her. Unota is the one with a problem.
Miss Z, can you hear me?
We can hear you, Nota.
I think it's not because I can also hear you. Can I speak or is it?
You can continue, Buko.
Only you can hear me. SA Patriot,
okay.
Please continue because I think everybody else is having signal problems.
Okay. My concern, I wanted to speak about our news broadcasting that are actually against